What's your conversation, Mr. and Mrs. Professional? When you in these child care centers, what kind of conversations are you holding with your parents? What kind of conversations are you holding with your co-teachers and your other staff who you work with? How are you speaking? Are you, I don't care, and what they doing, and loud? Are you being real common? Are you just trying to be seen? Are you using profanity? Are you having conversations that have no place in the child care setting? Let me tell you a secret. We know you're doing it, because it gets back to your center directors and it gets back to your center owners. And then we have to look at what kind of parameters we can put in place to safeguard on these things. You're my everything. That's how we gonna open up this episode, speaking to these teachers here at the Childcare Teacher Chronicles podcast. I love you. You're my everything. But I gotta talk some shit with y'all. I'm doing this solo episode, and I want to hit on some topics that I think really needs to be stressed to teachers here in these childcare world, right? So I want to talk to you all about professionalism, parent-teacher conflicts, and ethical dilemmas. Now, I know what y'all thinking, and I know what y'all saying. Y'all get this shit all the time in trainings. Y'all hear it all the time when y'all do y'all little group sessions. Your directors come, your trainers come, womp, 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 womp. But I want to shed light on it from a different aspect, right? I am so passionate about early child care and giving our teachers a voice, being an advocate for them, that I want to sit down and have this personal, intimate conversation. That's why it's me and you, babe. I love you. You my everything. And we going to get this shit right. So let's first start talking about professionalism in early child care. Why is that important? Why does professionalism matter? I'm going to be honest, I've had quite a few conversations. I've sat and done quite a few interviews for this podcast. I coach for different organizations. I see and meet with other center owners and directors and leader teachers and teachers. I sit on the board of executive directors for Child Care Association of Louisiana, right? And there are plenty of conversation about child care teachers, why they don't get the respect they deserve, why they don't get the funding they deserve, and why they are not recognized as intricate parts in children's lives in this early education sector. And I'll tell you a secret. You're the reason why. We don't take ourselves seriously in this profession, and we expect others to take us serious, right? One of the conversations I had was with the executive director of Child Care Association of Louisiana. We did an interview on advocacy and the importance of it, and the statistics she gave was staggering about the amount of child care center workers, child care centers, families, their communities, and those who are attached to them that do not get out and vote and advocate for them, right? So we're looking for people to give you a hand up, give you a leg up, pay you a better salary, look at you as a professional, when there's a great amount of us that doesn't put those things into ourselves. So let's first talk about professionalism. How are you showing up at your centers? That's a real question. Like, I'm going to give you a second to go, let me think on this shit. How am I showing up? When you walk out that door, are you putting your best foot forward? Are you proud to say you are a representation of yourself? Let me tell you a little backstory. When I get dressed and go somewhere with my kids, even if I'm going to the store, they better not come following behind me looking any kind of way. Why? Because I give a damn about how I'm perceived to the world. I give a damn about how my appearance is, how my hygiene is, right? And so I care for anybody following behind me to do the same. So when I leave to go somewhere and my kids don't have their shit together, y'all can't go. Point blank, period. The same for you. When you walk out your door every morning and you head into your center and you head into your location, how do you look? Do you feel like you actually had adequate enough sleep and you woke up in enough time to woosah in the morning before you had to prepare yourself for the day? Do you feel like you actually set your uniform out the night before, or you woke up in enough time to sit down and go through your closet and make sure you have a uniform that's clean, it's not tattered, it don't have holes in it, you don't have bleach spots in your shorts, in your pants, you don't have bleach spots in your shirt? Does that matter to you when you walk out the door? And if it don't, then you wonder why people don't give you the respect you need in this field. You need to care about your appearance. You need to care about how your hair looks. You need to care about your personal hygiene. And this me, Coach Stacey B. I'm having a real conversation with you, so don't get offended because I know I'm talking to you. But how is your hygiene when you coming across those doors? We have had situations where we had to pull staff members to the side and speak to them about their appearance, about their hair, about their body odors. That's a reflection on the child care centers. If we can't hire staff that make sure they care about how they're showing up in that environment, how are we going to teach the children to care about how they're showing up in their environment, right? So again, I want you to sit and ponder on this. Your appearance, that all matters. That says something about you. That's a statement piece. When you walk in the door, people should know you mean business and you give a damn about you. Specifically when we working in these school system and the child care centers, because that means you give a damn about who you teaching, right? But let's change it up to another thing. What's your conversation, Mr. and Mrs. Professional? When you in these child care centers, what kind of conversations are you holding with your parents? What kind of conversations are you holding with your co-teachers and your other staff who you work with? How are you speaking? Are you, I don't care, and what they doing, and loud? Are you being real common? Are you just trying to be seen? Are you using profanity? Are you having conversations that have no place in the child care setting? Let me tell you a secret. We know you're doing it, because it gets back to your center directors and it gets back to your center owners. And then we have to look at what kind of parameters we can put in place to safeguard on these things. Child care teachers come in, and I get it. You either talk to the adults in the center, which is mainly your counter teachers, or you talk to the children, right? But adults feel like they need to have adult communication, adult interaction. And that leads you all into having conversation that has no business in the workplace. You wonder how everybody in the center know your business because you sat there and told somebody your business. Then you want to get mad when they're speaking on your business, but you were the one who opened your mouth. So let's circle this back to this topic at hand, professionalism. How do you feel when you have to be pulled in the office and spoken to by your superior because something you shared with somebody is now spewing through the office? Sit down and think about that. Let your work life be your work life, and let your personal life be your personal life. Now, I'm not saying y'all can't have friends and make friends in these different organizations and centers, but more often than not, they're not your friends. Y'all have built a working relationship. Y'all found a commonality that you have a love for children or a love for the job you're doing, so you feel like you click-clack really well. And then as the dust settles, you find there's some personality differences, right? And that causes tension and causes things to go haywire in the centers. That's not fair to everybody else because you couldn't keep it professional when you crossed that door sill. So again, I want to talk to you all about being professional when you walk into your child care centers. And not only your centers, but every day in your life. It's like we tell the children, we practice with them every day with consistency, right? We want them to have a schedule. We want them to have a routine, right? Because that helps them to feel confident and comfortable in what they're doing, learning, and what they know. Same with you. Have a routine when it goes down to your professionalism, when it comes down to how you're speaking, when it comes down to how you're dressing, when it comes down to how you are showing up and representing yourself. Let's go back into these staff dynamics, right? Because what I find is we oftentimes have cliques and there's gossip that goes on in the child care center. I'm going to just be honest with you. That shit messy, real messy. And the funny thing is, if you haven't learned now, when this stuff is going around, half of the people don't care and the other people don't know. So you sitting there with all your business circulating and you talking to people and you want to share what this one said about that one. Half of the people don't care and the other half don't know. Sit your messy ass down. Gossip is not a place for the child care centers. Again, we want to work towards being looked at and known as professionals. And if you can't meet these criteria, this is not the profession for you. I don't know about you, but I work hard with my teachers who care about where they're going to be at in the future as it relates to early child care. And if you are not one of those people, find you something else to do. We want to build positive dynamics with our staff. So we're not saying don't communicate. We're not saying don't have conversations. We're not saying don't build friendships, because it happens. But you want to be careful and slow-footed in how you proceed in these relationships. Not all of you all are equally yoked. And as I said, as the dust settles, sometimes you find, I don't really like this person. She was cool in the beginning, or he was someone good to talk to, but now I'm not really feeling their personality, right? And when that happens, why does it have to be a whole shift change in the center? when you and your so-called friend fell out, why everybody got to know about it, right? Keep it professional. Be friends as long as you all are in the centers and have a common line of communication and have a mutual respect for each other. But all that extra stuff, check it at the door. I want to talk more about professionalism and accountability. How do those two work hand in hand? A true professional are accountable for their actions. A true professional are accountable for the things that they say and do. So I'm talking to you, early learning leaders, other early learning teachers. How are you being accountable for the things you are saying and doing in your work environment? Accountability goes across the board in all sectors. It goes back to, are you waking up and getting to work on time? Are you clocking in on time, or are you hanging out at the time clock? Or you still sitting in the parking lot on the phone talking to whoever on the phone? No, those children are sitting in the class waiting for you. And guess what? Your director, your lead teacher, your co-teacher, they're sitting down waiting on you as well. So I need you to show up and be accountable for everything you do. One thing we know, that no one in our centers are perfect. Things happen all the time. We have situations where there's certain incidents that happen. A child falls, a child hurt themselves. We need you to be accountable and saying, I saw what happened, this is what happened, and let me report it. One thing that we hate is when a child have an incident and what the teacher see. I don't know what happened. Sitting there looking like boo-boo the fool. If you don't know, then who's supposed to know? When these children are in your care, it is your responsibility to look out for them, to be engaged with them, and to be involved with them. If there is a situation that happens in your classroom and you are the teacher in charge, be accountable for that child. No parent wants to know, I don't know what happened. No director wants to be the one to tell that parent the teacher doesn't know what happened. So a part of building your professionalism toolbox is showing up and having accountability for all things that you are involved with in your child care centers, right? Then we want to talk about consistency and reliability. How consistent are you in your day-to-day at your centers? I know I'm knocking on some people's door. I know some of y'all probably ready to click this shit off because I'm talking about you. But if you give a damn about this career and you give a damn about child care professionals being looked at as professionals, I want you to really tune into what I'm saying. How consistent and reliable are you? This is the world of don't nobody won't come to fucking work no more. I'm sorry, I just got to say it. Your ear hurt, your toe fell off, your dog barks, your mama car across the street, you can't come to work. What is that saying about you and your ability to be reliable? Not just for the children, but for your damn self. When you don't show up, you don't get paid for that day. And you the same teachers that sit down and talk about, I need more money. Well, if you come to work consistently, you can get a full check and you can pay all your bills, right? You have to be reliable in these child care centers. Yeah, you have to be reliable for your co-teacher and the center as a whole, but the children are looking for you to show up every day. When you don't show up, you throw off their day. And that's not fair to them because you agreed to be a teacher and a guiding force in their life. And when you decide to renege on that, you're not only letting yourself down, but you're letting a classroom full of children down. And not only a classroom full of children, but now you're also letting down your co-teacher. So now they don't want to rock with you because you can't show up and help them bear the day like you promised you would by accepting this job and this responsibility. So again, keep that in your wheelhouse of building professionalism. I'm going to hit back on some of these things. Cut out that gossip and that cliquey shit. That's not good in building a great professional environment. We want to be consistent and reliable. When we say we're going to do something and we sign that dotted line to show up, you need to make sure you do it. When you tell a parent you're going to start documenting the child and helping potty training and making sure that you are making sure that they are safe each day, then I need you to show up and do it. When there's an incident or accident that happened in that classroom, you need to be accountable to say, I was the teacher, this is what happened, I am going to document this, and this is what I'm going to do to make sure that I can prevent for this type of accident happening again. All of these are great, powerful tools to build your professionalism warehouse, right? But another thing that you all don't think about when we talk about professionalism, career advancement. Do that even play a part in your mind when you're talking about professionalism? That goes back to, how am I going to promote you to put you in a better position, in a leadership role or an important role in our organization, give you a better salary, put you in position to learn more, grow more, and do more, give you this career advancement when you can't even show up as a child care professional? See, y'all like to sit, and when I say y'all, not everybody take this personal, but there's a group of you. You like to sit and talk about how child care don't pay enough, right? What do you do about that to ensure you are worthy of being paid enough? How do you show up in ways where your owner or your director hands down can't deny this girl need a bonus, she need an incentive, she needs an increase, she needs a raise, because she show up every day in a professional capacity, and she is what helps drives this center forward, which help income coming in, right? Think on that. You want to be able to be in rooms where people know your name and see what you're doing. Well, you need to be able to show up in a professional manner and work on that career advancement. I have met all kinds of owners and directors who are creating so many unheard of roles and positions within their organizations, right? We no longer have the days of having a co-teacher or assistant teacher, a lead teacher, a master teacher, assistant director, a director. We now have so many new tasks and responsibilities that's being created to give people roles of leadership in their centers. Career advancement is a key component of making sure you are on the right path and getting and securing a better bag for yourself, right? But if you can't come in on time, if your hair's still thrown all over your head, if you knew you should have been washed that weave out or took those braids out, if you knew that you didn't show up with your uniform on properly or out of uniform, or you got a dirty or tattered or dingy uniform on, that's no way that somebody's going to look at you for career advancement. But then what does that say to your parents about you? They wondering why the hell you even coming in the building. So again, another thing to consider as we working on professionalism is that career advancement piece. We want to be sure that you're building a great reputation for yourself and for our organization. Like I said, when I walk out my door, my children represents me and I represents them. I'm not looking any kind of way, but I'm also not going to let them follow me looking any kind of way, right? Same with you. What reputation are you setting in your child care center? When you step out and leave that center and go to the grocery store and you have on the uniform that names your center, are you a great representation of that center? If you were walking in the grocery store and you on the phone and, yeah, because she said this and I did this and I was ready to fight, and you could be walking past your state council, your state representative, someone who could be putting funding in your child care center and you don't even know it. So you need to keep a tight grip on how you are showing up and how you are representing yourself and your organization, because reputation matters. Opportunities come up just from you being able to go a little further and a little harder in the paint. That's a part of that professional growth. When we are comfortable with where we are and we want to just stay in our little bubble and we wonder why we don't get any big opportunities, because you are not shining your light as a leader you could be. I see that everyone in childcare has the opportunity to do great things, because it takes a special kind of person to work in early learning centers. We have to be creative and on our toes. We have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to pivot, but we also have to be able to deal with a heavy load, right? So you already are, those of you who have made it, you are already well equipped to be great, impactful leaders in this field. You just need to go back home and do some work on yourself and polishing up your skills. Now, don't take nothing I'm saying as offense, because this is just me, Coach Stacey B, having a one-on-one conversation with you because I love you and I want to see you succeed in this industry. But I also want to see this industry get the recognition that we deserve as a powerhouse, as the workforce, as the driving force behind the work in America. As I said time and time again, without childcare, parents can't go to work. But without teachers, childcare centers can't open. So we want to make sure teachers are showing up and being the best that they could be in every aspect of their jobs, right? But then let's also talk about, how does professionalism impact child outcomes? You thinking on that, huh? I bet you didn't even realize that there was a component where we can click those two together like Lego pieces, like Tetris pieces, right? How professionalism affects child outcomes. One, when you are stepping up and being a professional in your field, you want to learn more. You want to go to as many trainings as you can. You want to absorb as much knowledge as you can. You want to participate in as many professional developments that's available to you, because the only way that you can be hella successful in your career is to advance yourself in your skills and knowledge, right? And once you do that, we turn around and pour that into the children. Don't nobody go to college all these years and get all these degrees to not utilize the shit they learned, right? Same with you. As a professional, you have to indulge in those professional developments and those trainings. Why? Because it matters to the child's outcome. It matters. So again, as we're talking about being looked at as an elite field and getting more funding and being recognized like they do the teachers in the school systems, you have to be able to show what changes you have made to affect these children, right? Don't nobody want to see Sally and Sue walking in with her head all over her head talking about this how I help the children. This is what I do for the children. My kids like me because I like to play with them. That's not what early education about. You could play at home. We have to set the precedent of showing how we are being impactful in these children's lives. We have to be responsible for going through assessments with the children. We have to be responsible for observing the children, because you never know what your child needs or what this child is missing if you're not observing them, right? But it's one thing to sit down and observe, but you have to turn around and document this, right? Anti-dodo notes. I'm going to say this word again. Anti-dodo notes. Anti-dodo notes. Anti-dodo notes. And I'm saying it because so many of you early learning, educating teachers don't know what that word is. Anti-dodo notes is a running record of the child. We often have these children who have delayments and problems and behavior issues and whatever the case may be. And then you want to go talk to the director and be like, oh, she needs to go home because she's not doing this. And this child's still doing that. How many times have you documented this behavior? How many times have you taken an anti-dodo note on this child and this child's behavior, right? So again, as we talk about professionalism, we have to talk about child outcomes, but that goes back to you being a professional and taking those trainings and you doing those professional developments, right? So, and I have another point that I want to talk about with professionalism, and you probably didn't think I'm going to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about this. Parent-teacher interactions and ethical dilemmas. These parents not your fucking friends. I cannot stress this shit enough. I tell this all the time to my teachers. I tell this all the time to my leaders. These parents are not your friends. They are your friend as long as they can use you to their benefit to find out information about their child in your setting. I can't tell you how many times we have had parents and teachers befriend each other all for that shit to go left because something happened to the child and you supposed to be my friend and you were supposed to tell me, and now I'm putting my child, but because y'all friends and this parent know your dirty little secrets, what she do now? She starts spreading your shit. Or because you felt like this parent was your friend and you talked about something else that happened in the center, what she do now? She calling licenses on you. She's reporting your center, putting your job and everyone else's job at risk because you wanted to befriend a parent. Parents and teachers need to have a common respect for each other, a mutual communication with each other, but they need to have boundaries. As much as center directors and center managers work at instilling in teachers about these boundaries with these parents, it is up to you to think smart. I'm going to say it again. The parents are not your friends. They can be friendly. They can be nice. You can have a cordial relationship with, but at the end of the day, most parents only befriend you long enough so they can get whatever they need to get out you about that center. That ties into ethical dilemmas. When you start befriending these parents and having these inappropriate relationships and conversation with friends, you now put yourself in a tight spot, right? You have to realize, is what you're saying or the words that you are using is in expressing to these parents, is it beneficial or conducive to helping a better relationship with this child in the center? Or is it some messy shit that can turn around and bite you in the ass? Like I said, I've seen time and time again when a teacher and a parent has built a relationship and then they fall out and then the parent comes back telling the stories to other teachers about what the teacher said about this one, and then it turns into some messy shit. And then you wonder why they still not looking at us as professionals. If we want to be looked at as professionals, if we want to be treated as professionals, we need to stop this messy shit and really work hard at becoming better professionals for this industry. Let's not tie ourselves up in these unethical dilemmas. Teachers, you have no motherfucking business indulging in personal relationships with these parents, specifically when it's one of, a relationship like that. We've seen it before in centers. I coach owners and directors through all kinds of situations and dilemmas. You can't help who you like, you can't help who you love, but you're putting yourself and your center in jeopardy when you fall into these inappropriate relationships. You're not only doing that, but you are helping that narrative of us being unprofessional babysitters keep growing and fostering in our community. So I know I kind of laid a few heavy things on you, and I was very passionate about it because I want you to understand my point of view when we talk about childcare and early childcare as a professional entity in our workforce. You teachers have to show up and show that you are a professional in this workforce. You have to give a damn about how you look. You have to give a damn about what you say. You have to care about who you are interacting with. You have to care about what you saying to people that may come off as a negative way. And you have to care about these child outcomes. The only way we are going to continue to get a light shined on us, to get more funding, to get more backing, to get more support is when we can show as professionals we can impact these children's lives for the better. You wonder why sometimes the children go into the school setting and they can't keep up. They leave your center and they can't read. They leave your center and they what's your name? Day. Because what y'all ass called the little boy all day? Day. When his name Darnell. You should have been calling him Darnell so he could communicate his name. When he's sitting down and write it, Day. That's not how you spell Darnell. He don't even know it's Darnell. So again, as we talk about professionalism, we need to be impactful in showing up as our best self. So when people see us, when we speak, when they hear us, we are clear that we are child care professionals. In doing so, that translates in how far we can impact the children and the families of who we service every day. This is Coach Stacey B, and I'm talking to you all with passion about professionalism because one day we're going to really get the recognition that we deserve. And it's going to start from us as teachers coming together and showing that we are true child care professionals impacting the early education sector one child at a time because we give a damn about them and ourselves. This wraps up my solo episode of Professionalism for the Childcare Teacher Chronicles. I appreciate you tuning in. As you know, we are going to talk about all things childcare, but specifically as it relates to the teachers, because I need you all to have a voice and be heard. I'm going to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you ever want to sit down and talk to me about anything affecting you childcare, get at me. This is Coach Stacey B, and I'll talk to you later.